What's going on, fam? Welcome back to the channel. Today is the playtest, finally, of the Tricks edition of the Puma Ultra 5 non-carbon. I'm super stoked for this video because I think these are gonna be really, really excellent. Now, today's video is unfortunately not gonna include any shooting because I have literally been driving around for an hour and a half trying to find a pitch with goals, and the usual one that I went to, I actually set up everything about 9 o'clock this morning, and we are 2.5 hours later because they came down and tried to kick me off. And yeah, there were 4 fields that were wide open, no one on them. And this group just was like, sorry, you can't train here. That's really frustrating. So I'm just gonna take my anger out in this session and just do a lot of dribbling and passing and still hopefully give you guys a good rendition of a playtest for these speed boots. We'll do some speed and agility as well, so you guys will get a good sense of what these are like, really making aggressive cutting movements and doing all that kind of stuff as well. Let's hop into it. All right, so here we go, getting the boots on, and I'm gonna imagine that these are gonna be very, very comfortable still, as I've only worn them once for the review. This is the first time that I've officially taken them out. And this pitch, unfortunately, is not amazing, but it is a firm ground pitch, which, as I said in my initial review, I'm probably only going to test these on firm ground because this speed system is quite an aggressive traction, which is great for FG pitches, but I do want to make sure that I keep my feet safe. But overall, fit and feel of the Ultra 5 is such a massive improvement over the previous generation. I really, really like how these fit. The heel area with that ortholite insert feels really nice, actually. We'll see if that holds up, obviously, over the course of this playtest and doing movements and cutting. Hopefully it doesn't do any sort of, rotational slippage, and there isn't that much issues with the boots. The shape of this upper with the Power Tape SQT basically inside of this boot as like an internal support cage feels really good, locks your foot in really nice and solid on the sole plate. And then this forefoot area really does have quite a bit of space in it, and it allows my feet to kind of really feel natural in the shape of this forefoot, which is absolutely huge. So as you can see from the forward angle, there is a little bit of space here and here. As I kind of move my feet back and forth, there's definitely a little bit of space there on the outside of my ankles, but that's to be expected for a boot that has a very structured mesh-based synthetic upper. So let's hop into some footwork. All right, I figure we start out with a little bit of juggling and a bit of overview of what the tech specs are. So as I said, the sole plate is what they call a speed system, and the particular shape of the studs is called the Fast Tracks stud pattern, or I think they're called it's like FASTTRAX or something like that. And basically that's the actual stud layout and the pattern of the studs themselves, so the design of the studs. Then you have the Power Tape SQD, which is the internal support cage of the upper, which is a mesh-based synthetic upper, and it also has the Grip Control Pro on the upper, which creates this really sticky feeling. Like if I'm gonna swipe at the ball, like you can see, the spin, it's a very, very, very sticky upper. I would say maybe not on par with Grip Knit, but from a speed boot perspective, it's definitely more aggressive than some of the grip elements on the F50. And I would say compared to the Furon, obviously much more grippy than that, because the Furon doesn't have any sort of grip elements. Scudetta doesn't have grip elements, and yeah, so I would say outside of the Vapor, this is by far the most kind of sticky feeling upper. So very, very nice, but that's the general tech specs. All right, so this area is actually a little bit sandy, but it is gonna act quite nicely as an FG stud pattern test, essentially. So let's just jump straight into a little bit of footwork, a little bit of explosion out as well. Very nice. And we'll go backwards the other way as well. Yeah, this speed system feels absolutely fantastic underfoot, and I feel pretty balanced, to be honest, even though I know the outside of my foot is gonna have to push kind of over and spill over that sole plate a little bit through the midfoot area there. honestly feels super balanced and really, really nice and aggressive for that FG traction. Now, from an upper perspective, I am getting hot spots already on the outside of my feet, to be expected from the Ultra series in general, but I would say that the upper is a lot more flexible than the previous generation, and I would say it feels more flexible and more pliable than the F50, but outside of that, pretty much every other speed boot on the market right now is a little bit more pliable, a little bit more flexible, and is probably gonna be better for break-in time. That's not to say that these aren't bad, but the shape of them is a lot more rigid, like the F50, compared to, you know, the grip knit on the Vapor, BioTouch on the Scudetta, etc. All right, next little drill, I'm gonna start on the bottom side and we're gonna combine dribbling, passing, and a little bit of footwork. So I'm just gonna start here, get through the cones, grab the ball, dribble back through, pass against the wall, back dribble, leave it, go back through, and then start again, okay? So we'll just go through once, basically just get a good feel for what the ball, lovely, and leave it, through, and then there we go. Nice. Yeah, man. Even though there's a little bit of kind of weird fit around the collar, I really like these. They're super secure. I know they're gonna break in because this upper is already feeling a little bit more pliable. Hot spots are going away already. So pretty good, pretty good. All right, here we go, round two. Gonna do a couple variations of this one. This one, instead of side shuffling, I'm literally just gonna try and sprint through a little bit of cuts and see how we go. Yeah, man, these are so enjoyable to play in. Nice. Oh, I like them. I like them. I didn't think I was going to, but these are a really, really good addition to the speed boot category. And I'm so glad that Puma went in this direction for these, because well done. Yeah, definitely a little bit tight, but sole plate is incredibly aggressive moving forward. Very good lateral stability with that power tape. And again, the only thing that I'm having issues with right now is the ankle, how the ankle kind of fits around my foot, and then a little bit of tightness on the outside of my foot, which I don't really think twice about, because that's just part of what the just boots in general, and speed boots in particular, have issues with. All right, next one, a couple passes against the wall. So just gonna be here, one touch, make sure they're firm. There we go, here, and then some side of turn, and then all the way there and back through the gates, or the, whatchamacallit, the cones, I guess. This is a rough surface. Lovely. Nice. Sweet. We'll do that one a couple more times. Man, also, compared to the previous generation of Puma Ultra, the Ortholite in the heel area makes such a difference. It wraps my Achilles really well. There's a minor amount of slippage, but it's not enough that I'm gonna take any stock in it. Like, it's very, like, there's a little bit of slippage, but I'm not feeling any sort of hot spots or rubbing, which is really the most important piece. All right, same idea. Get those passes going. Here we go. Nice. So a comment really quick about Grip Control Pro. This is a dry surface. It is quite sandy. This is like totally dry. It did rain a little bit earlier this morning, but we're like, yeah, bone dry at this point. And Grip Control Pro is pretty intense for this type of surface. I would say for the majority of surfaces that you're gonna play on in dry weather or in sunshine or whatever, you're gonna have really with Grip Control Pro and with the grip knit, you're gonna have a bit of kind of that, how would you say? I'm gonna keep talking while I go shut off this other camera. You're gonna have a bit of kind of over grip or over stickiness, simply because the way that they've designed this is so that it performs really well in wet weather conditions as well as dry weather. But there's definitely moments when I'm coming around tight turns at speed where I can feel the ball kind of sticking to my foot, which is kind of nice. I like that because especially when it comes to striking the ball, which unfortunately we can't do today because there's no goals. Maybe I'll do some against the fence or whatever, but you get the idea, right? Like with that spinning the ball, any sort of manipulation where it's really tight to your foot, you're gonna feel this a lot more than other football boots kind of in that same, kind of this same category other than the grip knit, which is gonna be pretty similar to this. All right, before we get into some more passing, I'm gonna take this opportunity to take these off just because they are a little bit tight around the outside of my feet, right in that area here. But honestly, I am very, very impressed with how these are performing so far. I am a huge, huge fan of how these differ from the other Ultras. And to be fair, these are something that are, I think, a lot more focused than the other speed boots on the market. Yes, Vapor is aggressive, but the lockdown isn't anywhere close to this. This kills the Vapor as far as lockdown goes, and as far as traction goes, to be fair as well. I think this is more aggressive than the Vapor. I think the same can be said about the Soquito. I think this blows it out of the, not necessarily blows it out of the water, but it's definitely more aggressive and feels more speed boot, like aggressive speed boot, what we used to think about in the boot world as far as, you know, what makes an aggressive speed boot is traction, responsiveness of the sole plate, super locked in sensation, almost to the point of being uncomfortable in the upper, and then a lacing system that really kind of brings all those pieces together. And then of course, a shape that actually kind of works for most people's feet, which I think this definitely will. And as you can see, the upper is getting a lot more soft already. The Grip Control Pro elements are pretty aggressive compared to most other things on the market. You're really not gonna get much else as far as the grip elements goes outside of that grip knit, like I'm saying before. But just as far as a product, number one, I definitely already prefer these to the carbon model, simply because on an FG pitch, even like this, that's a little bit more looser surface, it's a little bit sandy, so I am gonna have an ability to dig into the ground with these studs. I would say that I'm gonna prefer these just because they give me a little bit more give on the sole plate, as opposed to the upper feeling pretty stiff and the sole plate being near, I mean, it's like it's like playing with a carbon rod underneath your foot. Like it's so stiff, it's almost too much. Whereas these, I think, are that perfect balance that meshes a really aggressive tight fit around your foot in the upper, while also giving you an aggressive and very, very snappy sole plate. I think take the carbon out, as far as speed boots goes, these have to be up there as far as the aggressiveness and the most sort of speed boot on the market as far as traction goes. I would say Vapor doesn't come close. Soquito is maybe up there a little bit. It's pretty aggressive, but as far as like rigidness and snappiness is what you want in that sole plate for a speed boot, not a lot of other things come close to this, which is pretty cool. And I love that Puma stuck to their guns with having an aggressive speed boot, and they went way more aggressive than the previous generation Ultra Ultimate, which had like pretty mundane studs, and the traction, you could bend the boot in half with an upper and a shape that was really crappy. This is a massive upgrade. So let's get some passing going, and then we'll do a little bit more dribbling, and then that'll wrap up the video. All right, here we go. A little bit of touch play. Because the upper as well is one solid piece of material and knit, it feels very seamless to pass with, to present the ball. Yeah, so every little movement you're making, very, very consistent, no matter whether it's a pass here, a pass on the outside of the foot. So I can pass here, I can pass there with the laces, and it all feels pretty much the same, which is awesome. I really like these types of uppers that are really consistent and coherent. All right, a little bit of a open up. So play, open, play, open. Nice. Yeah. I'm really impressed with how locked in this upper feels. I'll show you guys in a minute the heel slippage. Wait, hello, open up the body. There we go. But overall, very, very impressed. Yeah, lovely. Man, I actually really like these. These are gonna make a pretty consistent space or spot in the rotation, I think, particularly if I can get that midfoot to break in over the course of the next couple weeks, couple months. All right, last little drill here. You guys have seen this before. Pretty intensive dribbling drill with lots of different variations you can do. And this is one of my favorites for the fitness piece of it and for the dribbling aspect of it. So we're gonna start here with a little bit of cutbacks, and then you'll see as we go. Little figure 8 here. Yeah, nice. Short, sharp dribbling really, really shows off this boot's capabilities, even in sort of a sandy condition. There we go. Lovely. So as I said before, like this is very, very sandy. I'll show you the bottom of the boots after the session, but still performs really, really well. And that's thanks to those fast tracks, the speed system outsole, feeling aggressive, feeling like I'm up on my toes, and also the fast tracks studs, which grip into this firm ground pitch and a little bit sandy pitch excellently well. All right, second round, a little bit different this time, a little bit more finesse, I guess, or a little bit more complicated. So we'll jump straight into it. Again, really trying to focus on how the boots fit. Nice, lovely. Come on, King. Footwork, baby, let's go. Yes, nice, good. Here we go. Yeah, man, I'm a huge fan of these. Lovely. All right, let's get into final thoughts. All right, final thoughts. Let me put my jacket on. Final thoughts on the Puma Ultra 5 Ultimate, I think is what they're called. Very, very well done, Puma. I think you have brought onto the market currently the most focused speed boot on the market. Now, that is not including the Carbon Edition, obviously, because the Carbon Edition is pretty freaking aggressive. But as far as what we used to love about speed boots, despite them maybe not feeling super comfortable, blah, 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 the Ultra, see, there's the sand. Yeah, there you go. The Ultra 5 is very, very good for what it is. This is a super enjoyable boot to play in. Gosh, that is a lot of sand. Super, super enjoyable boot to play in. This is absolutely something that I'm going to continue to test and play around with. As I sort of predicted in the unboxing video, this is going to be a speed boot that I think is going to fit most people. If you have wider feet, specifically here in the midfoot, like I do, really wide here, then these are a boot that'll take you a little while to break in, I think, but the toe box actually should be totally suitable for you. I go true to size to my 9 US, and so far the fit has been excellent. I do have a little bit of slippage here in the ankle, but that is because the ankle area, in my opinion, is a little bit too loose. It's a little too wide, and I would like them to have maybe shrunk this kind of area a little bit more, and then just made it an open kind of raw knit material so that this can, you know, obviously this stretches no problem, and then you apply that same function to shrink around the ankle a little bit more, and I think it would have been, I don't know, maybe a little bit better, a little bit easier to deal with as far as breaking goes, but whatever. This is nitpicky stuff. Ortholite heel area, fantastic, really, really enjoy that. And this upper is, look at that, super, super, super soft already. This one-piece upper is awesome, and I think the Power Tape SQD does such a good job of locking your foot in. It's a very aggressive fit and feel, but yeah, so that's gonna wrap up my thoughts. I am hopeful that I can get out to, well, I will, it probably won't be on camera, but I will definitely be testing these out on a pitch that I can actually go and shoot on, because I wanna see what these feel like with a little bit more of an aggressive traction. Obviously, you can't flex your foot as much as you strike, and so I am curious to know what these are gonna feel like when striking the ball in a little bit more of a, I don't know, kind of a more fluid motion and stuff, as opposed to just being like in the corner of a pitch that doesn't have any goals around it. So that's gonna wrap up today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you do have any questions about how these performed that I haven't answered in today's video, leave them down in the comment section below. There will be discount codes as well for all of the equipment that I use today, particularly the balls, and the grip socks that I use are absolutely fantastic. They are partners of the channel, and I appreciate them very much. So you guys can find links down below, and then yeah, enjoy wearing these if you're keen for them. As always, be awesome. Take care. I'll see you guys in the next video.